What if you discover a roadmap to a longer, happier life, written not by scientists and labs, but by the world's oldest living elders? It turns out some of the most vibrant, energetic people on the planet aren't doing anything magically. They're simply living by ancient, proven habits that science is only now beginning to understand. Listen up and follow along. Have you ever met someone in their 90s who still gardens every day, laughs with friends over coffee, or dances at family weddings and thought, how do they do it? Maybe you've wondered why some people seem to age like fine wine, staying sharp, spry, and full of joy, while others struggle with aches, fatigue, or loneliness. Well, my friend, it's not just good genes or luck. There's a science to it. For nearly 2 decades, researchers have studied places called blue zones, tiny pockets of the world where people live longer, healthier lives than anywhere else. In Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, and a few other spots, it's common to see folks celebrating 100th birthdays and still chopping their own firewood. But here's the best part. You don't have to move to a Mediterranean island to borrow their secrets. Today, we're sharing 4 simple rules these communities live by. Habits you can start today, right where you are, to feel more energized, connected, and alive after 70. Now, you might be thinking, but I've tried diets and exercise plans before. They never stick. Oh, I hear you. The magic of blue zones isn't about strict routines or counting calories. It's about weaving small, joyful choices into your daily life. Choices that add up to decades of good health. Let's start with the first 2. Rule number 1, let plants steal the spotlight. In blue zones, meat isn't the main event. It's more like a garnish. Centenarians in Okinawa, for example, fill their plates with sweet potatoes, leafy greens, and soybeans. In Sardinia, it's fennel, tomatoes, and whole grain bread. And here's what the research tells us. A study in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that folks who eat mostly plants have a 30% lower risk of heart disease. But you don't need a lab report to feel the difference. Think of it this way. Every time you choose a bean soup over a burger, or snack on almonds instead of chips, you're giving your body a gift. Plants are packed with fiber to keep your digestion humming, antioxidants to fight inflammation, and nutrients that protect your brain. And no, you don't have to go vegan. Just aim for 80% plants on your plate. Start small. Add a handful of spinach to your morning eggs. Swap rice for quinoa. Or try a meatless Monday, stir fry with whatever's in season. Rule number 2, move without thinking about it. Here's a secret. No one in blue zones works out. They don't jog on treadmills or lift weights. Instead, movement is baked into their day. Sardinian shepherds walk miles over hilly terrain. Okinawan elders tend gardens well into their 90s. Even doing dishes by hand or sweeping the porch counts. Researchers call this natural movement, and it's gold for your joints, muscles, and mood. You see, sitting for hours is like letting your body rust. But gentle, all-day motion oils the hinges. It keeps your heart strong, your balance steady, and your mind clear. So, how can you add more incidental movement? Park farther from the store. Dance while you fold laundry. Set a timer to stretch every hour. Or, if you're able, try a 10-minute walk after meals. One study in diabetes care found that a short post-meal stroll can lower blood sugar spikes by 30%. Imagine that. Better health just by strolling to watch the sunset. Now, these first 2 habits, eating plants and moving naturally, are like the foundation of a sturdy house. They support everything else. But blue zones teach us that longevity isn't just about the body. It's about connection and purpose, the kind of things that make you leap out of bed in the morning. For now, why not try one tiny change this week? Maybe swap your afternoon cookie for a handful of walnuts. Or invite a friend for a walk and talk instead of sitting over coffee. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. When I first learned about blue zones, I assumed their secrets were all about kale and climbing hills. But here's what surprised me. The longest living people on Earth don't just eat well and move their bodies. They're master gardeners of their social lives. They've cracked the code on something many of us forget as we age. Who you spend your time with is just as important as what you eat or how you move. Which brings us to rule number 3, build your tribe before you need it. In Okinawa, they have a word, moai, which means a lifelong circle of friends who support each other, rain or shine. These groups start in childhood and last well into their 100s. They share joys, sorrows, and even financial help if times get tough. But here's the kicker. Studies show having strong social ties can add up to 15 years to your life expectancy. That's like swapping a sedan for a Ferrari. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but people move away. Friends pass. It's harder to meet folks at my age. Oh, believe me, I felt that loneliness creeping too. But here's the good news. Building your tribe isn't about having dozens of friends. It's about depth, not width. One study from Harvard followed people for 80 years and found that having just 1 or 2 close relationships in later life significantly reduces risks of dementia and heart disease. So, how do you grow your moai? Start with what's already blooming around you. Reconnect with that neighbor who always waves from their porch. Join a book club at the library, even if you're nervous. Or try what my friend Carl did. He posted a note at his community center saying, "Retired teacher looking for coffee buddies. First round's on me." Within a week, he had 3 new friends. The key? Be the one who reaches out first. Rule number 4, slow down to speed up. This one's tricky in our hurry-up world, but in blue zones, life has a different rhythm. Sardinian shepherds take afternoon naps. Okinawan elders start each morning with a quiet moment of gratitude. Even their meals are leisurely. No rushing through a sandwich at the kitchen counter. And science backs this up. Chronic stress accelerates aging by shortening our telomeres, those little caps on our DNA that act like biological clocks. But slowing down doesn't mean doing less. It means doing more of what feeds your soul. Take Ikaria, Greece, where people work well into their 80s, but on their own terms. They fish, tend vineyards, and host family gatherings that last until the stars come out. The trick is to drop the shoulds and embrace the want-tos. Maybe that means saying no to a draining obligation so you can finally take that painting class. Or swapping 30 minutes of TV for drinking coffee or tea on the porch, listening to the birds. Here's a simple practice from Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula. Another blue zone. Every day, do one thing that makes you lose track of time. For my Aunt Martha, it's jigsaw puzzles. For my buddy Frank, it's whittling little wooden ducks. It doesn't have to be productive, just yours. Researchers call this flow state, and it's like a spa day for your brain. Now, if rules 1 and 2 were the foundation of a longer, healthier life, rules 3 and 4 are the walls and roof, the structure that keeps everything standing. But there's one final piece, the spark that makes it all worth living. In every blue zone, people wake up with a reason to rise. Not just to stay busy, but a deep sense of purpose. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai. In Nicoya, plan de vida. And here's the beautiful part. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. Maybe it's mentoring a grandchild, volunteering at the animal shelter, or finally writing those family stories down. Studies in the Journal of Aging and Health found that seniors with a strong sense of purpose are 2.5 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's. But more than that, it makes every morning feel like a gift, not a grind. When I visited my cousin Irene last fall, she showed me her why. Every morning, rain or shine, she walks to the local elementary school to help kids with their reading. She's 82, wears glittery sneakers, and calls those students her daily dose of joy. And that, my friends, is the secret sauce of blue zones, the why that ties everything together. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai, your reason for jumping out of bed. In Costa Rica, it's plan de vida. But here's the truth. Purpose isn't some lofty, complicated thing. It's as simple as knowing you matter, that the world is better because you're here. And science tells us this isn't just poetic, it's life-saving. A study in The Lancet found that seniors with a strong sense of purpose are 30% less likely to die prematurely. Not because they're chasing immortality, but because they're too busy living. So how do you find or reignite your why? Start by listening to what made your heart sing long before retirement. Did you lose yourself in crossword puzzles? Get energized by mentoring new hires? Or maybe it's as simple as baking pies that make your grandkids grin. My neighbor Ed, at 78, started teaching veterans how to whittle at the community center. Says it keeps his hands busy and his heart full. Now let's tie this all together. Those 4 blue zone rules we've talked about: plants, movement, tribe, and slowing down. They're not a checklist. They're ingredients in a recipe. And your purpose is the oven that brings it all to life. When you wake up excited to tend your garden, call a friend, or share stories with your book club, those healthy choices stop feeling like chores. They become celebrations. Here's my challenge to you this week. Grab a notebook and finish this sentence. Today, I felt most alive when... Do it for 7 days. You'll start noticing patterns. Maybe it's when you're teaching your grandkid to fish, or when you're knee-deep in a mystery novel. That's your ikigai whispering to you. Nurture it, and watch how it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. And remember, this isn't about adding more to your plate. It's about savoring what's already there. Had a salad for lunch? Fantastic, you're feeding your cells. Took the stairs instead of the elevator? Bravo, you're oiling those joints. Called a friend just to hear their voice? That's pure blue zone magic. I'll leave you with this. Aging isn't about loss. It's about layers, like rings in a tree. Every laugh line, every memory, every season you've weathered makes you richer, deeper, wiser. So don't just aim to live longer. Aim to live brighter. What's one tiny blue zone habit you'll try this week? Share it in the comments. Let's inspire each other. And if this video resonated with you, pass along to someone who needs a boost. After all, the best health tips are the ones we share. Here's to your 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, being your most vibrant chapters yet. Cheers, my friend.